You know, have your iPad?
Oh yeah.
Have your iPad?
Oh yeah.
Have your iPad?
Oh yeah.
Get rid of that. There we go.
It's charged up for a change.
Oh. Oh, we don't have anybody yet.
This one is crooked.
What? Let's check. Okay.
Now you're.
What? I don't know what you're looking at. What do you think makes it crooked?
Well,
You're
the
looking
phone
at
looks,
this.
The phone looks crooked.
Well, yeah, but it's the picture.
Okay, down that way a little bit. Okay, that's better.
Jeez. Okay, who's here? Everybody. Rosie's here. Hi, Rosie. And Andy's here. Hi, Andy. And Debs is here. Hi, Debs. And Virginia's here. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Julie. Everybody's starting to come in right now, so. And Yeti's here. Catherine's here. Everybody's coming in all at once. Good. Okay, so let's give it a few more seconds here. Walter's trying to hook up his to get it going. Jody's here. Hi, Jody. And Phyllis is here. Hi, Phyllis. Phyllis says, thanks for sending us some cool air, Canada.
Well, I don't know. It's not so
It's
cool.
not that cool
right
here.
now.
Right now, it's like, what is the temperature?
I'm not sure. Hang on, let me check.
It's in the upper 30s, isn't it? With the humidex, I think it's
30.
close to 40.
It's I don't know. It says it's 22. Seems awfully low.
22?
No, it's
No,
28.
28.
It's 28.
Seems hotter than that.
Wow.
Hmm.
So 28 is how much in front.
Well, anyways, I'm not going to complain about it because in 2 months' time we'll be bitching it's getting colder.
Well, for us it's hot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for us it's hot. Well, we sucked it all away from you.
It works to 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, okay. 82.4. Well, that's not
For
bad.
for us, that's kind of hot.
Yeah, well, yeah, whatever. Okay, so what are we drinking? Fresh strawberry daiquiris. We bought a basket of strawberries this afternoon, and Walter made some of them into a daiquiri. I think you put some frozen ones into it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And we're having cheese curd and these lovely things. Another one of my ghetto appetizers. These were quesadillas that I made latter part of this past week, and so I just cut them up what were left over, and we're having them as cold hors d'oeuvres. And actually, they're not bad. But we'll eat anything. Okay. So last week, let me swallow. We had taken the equipment with us to Cambridge. That's the area we were in, which is an hour and a half, 2 hours west of us. And of course, because it was my birthday weekend, and we were doing quilt shopping and everything like that. So we intended to try and do a Stephen and Walter Live last Sunday, but we went to a play, went to see Little Shop of Horrors in another town in that area, Stratford. And by the time we got back, and then Walter was taking me out to dinner at the Keg, there wasn't any time in between the two events. So we just left it for this week. So there'll be lots of things to talk about this week. Catherine says here in Allentown, Pennsylvania, it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like 102. Whoa. I wouldn't think that you... Well, yeah, you guys will... Well, I don't know. I guess it just depends on how the weather, whatever creates the heat.
I don't know if we know what 102 feels like. The closest time we went to Palm Springs in the summer one time,
and that was
and it was
106.
102. It was 106. Yeah.
It was 106. Yeah. Um, well, when we were in Australia, up in Cairns and that, we had over 40 before
Yeah.
Humidex. They didn't even report on the Humidex. I don't know if they have a Humidex.
I don't know.
But Phyllis says felt like 110 here yesterday. Okay, but you realize that in a month's time or so, we'll all be complaining about that it hasn't been hot enough, that it's getting cold again. So we might as well enjoy it while we can. I mean, that is if you've got air conditioning. If you don't, then that's a bit of a bitch. But anyways, okay, so let's see. Update on my mother. All right, so when we were away last weekend, and I think everybody knows this by now, but just recap, it was my birthday weekend. We went to a place west of us, lots of quilt stores, went to 10 of them. I've got an idiot quilter, or 2 idiot quilters up about those. One you see the stores we went to, and the other one you see the $1,300 worth of fabric that I bought. And that's not counting what fabric that Walter bought. He didn't buy as near as much as I did, but he still bought fabric from it.
Probably bought about $500 worth.
Well, so we didn't do bad. But I've got that all on Idiot Quilter episodes, so...
I didn't actually calculate how much
Oh.
I spent about.
Well, it doesn't...
Between that and your birthday.
Are we going to this again? He's an Indian giver.
Who's
Jeez.
talking?
Thank you. You want the money you gave me back?
No.
So I still got it. Catherine says we are warned to stay indoors, dangerously high humidity. Virginia says love seeing the birthday quilt haul. Yeah, kind of thing. A lot of people seem to like to see haul videos. I think I should do more haul videos because I've had in less than a week. I mean, I'm small potatoes, right? But I've had in less than a week over 140 views of that haul. Which I know people who put up a video and get like 12K views in 2 hours on theirs. I don't know how they do it. But I was kind of happy with that.
Laura said she nearly died from the heat yesterday.
Oh, did you, Laura?
Do you not have air conditioning?
Do you not have air conditioning? You poor thing if you don't.
I mean, some people here don't have it.
No, that's true. But Laura says, nope. Okay. I hope you got a good fan. Or whatever. So, we went up there, we did all of that, and on was it the Friday night or the Saturday night? The phone rings, my cell phone rings at around 8:30. I see it on my phone, it comes up Strathaven, that's the name of my mother's nursing home. As soon as I see that, I go, oh crap, something's happened to her. They put her in the hospital, she's dead, what? Ever. No, staff members telling me that they may have lost my mother's new teeth. Well, the bottom part. Apparently, they came into her room, gathered up her laundry, take down to the laundry room, and then when they finished doing that, then my mother says to them, oh, I might have left my teeth wrapped up in a Kleenex in the pocket of my pants that went down to the wash. So off they went to look for them. They didn't find them down there. And I said to her, well, did you look in her drawers or did you look in her bed? Because she sometimes leaves things and they get caught up in her blankets in her bed and that's happened before. She said, no, but they had, but they'd look again. And I'm thinking, great. She just got those teeth and now they're gone. But luckily, 5 minutes later, the staff member called me back up and said, no, we found them. Your mother said, oh, maybe she left them in her wheelchair. So they looked in the wheelchair, and I guess they were sitting in the wheelchair. So they found the teeth. But nevertheless, my mother's already complaining about them, as I suspected, and she's not really wearing them. So what can you do? The opportunity's there for her. I laid it at her feet. They've come in. They've adjusted them a couple of times. They'll come in again if need be. Told her it takes time. It's like we're going to get a new pair of shoes. You got to break them in. I mean...
Well, my mother had false teeth for years. She got them when she was 36. And she could never get used to the bottom ones. So she only ever wore the top ones.
Well, it seems like it's the bottom ones that are bothering my mother the most, too. So maybe that's a common thing with them. I don't know. I have never had those.
Of course, in our family, we couldn't eat steak or corn because my mother couldn't chew it.
Oh, well, I think at the home they're only getting soft foods.
Yeah, well,
But anyways, so and then I can't remember if I mentioned this on the vlog. I may have. About a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I got a call in the morning at around 8 o'clock in the morning from the nursing home. And of course, you get a call that early in the morning. First thing you think, okay, disaster. Well, my mother had her wedding rings, of course, on. And I know she couldn't get her wedding rings off. She told me this. But I guess they were starting to cause a problem. They were cutting off the circulation in her finger. And they thought they should be removed. And so at first they suggested taking her to a jeweler and getting them cut off. Well, that was easier said than done.
Didn't that happen? Didn't you already explain this?
Did I explain this?
Yeah.
Did I talk about that already? That's what happens when
I
you
think
move
we
it.
did.
Anyways, long story short, in case they were able at the home to get them cut off, and she's fine with it. And then she had a little bit of infection in her finger, and they gave her stuff for it, and she's good. Okay, moving on. Already know about Cambridge when we up there and all the money we
Cambridge
spent.
is also the location where they filmed The Handmaid's Tale. If anybody.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you watch The Handmaid's Tale, a lot of it is filmed in Cambridge. And lately, the last few episodes, there's been a lot of scenes where they're in a really big mansion of a house. Supposedly, it's the house of the upper echelon in the government.
It was a few episodes ago.
Yeah. Well, that's done here in Oshawa at a place called Parkwood, which I think I've told you about before. R.S. McLaughlin.
Colonel Sam.
Yeah, a guy who was the president of the Canadian GM, which Oshawa used to be the center for, and everything. That was his estate. They film a lot of things there. Okay. Walter's quilt. Show you quilt. He hasn't got it quilted yet. Oh, did you put your borders on?
No, not yet.
Oh, he hasn't got his borders on yet either. But he's got this all... There it is.
I can't see.
Yeah, well, they can. Yep, you're fine. Yep, so there it is. So he's got borders to put on it yet. And then he's got to quilt it. He's going to long arm it. And then bind it. And it's all done. I think it looks pretty good. It's nice, bright colors.
Oh.
Yeah, Catherine said I did tell him about that stuff. Deb says that's lovely, Walter, and Laura says pretty colors. Yeah, bold.
Bold.
We like bold colors. A lot of the women that come into that store, though, they seem to go for the more muted colors. Odd things. I don't know. Yeti says beautiful, Walter, and so does Andy. And Andy says, how will you use it?
I don't know.
Well, I'll probably sit in a closet. I don't know. That's a good question because I've got a quilt rack downstairs and it's full of all my quilts. I've got to start giving quilts to people, just making them and giving them away because how many quilts can one person really use? I mean, if we didn't have central heat, Catherine says she loves it. And I've finished quilting my pineapple quilt and I'm going to show that tomorrow on the vlog. I'm not going downstairs and get it today. Okay, so what else? Andy says she'll take one. A quilt.
Yeah.
We do commission work. You can't
Yeah.
afford us.
I still want to get back to doing some stained glass.
Yeah, I think every week you say that. Still
Yeah.
want to get back into something. Oh, and that reminds me, comments. It was Chris, Inviting Thoughts from Australia. She suggested that when I showed the the kangaroo applique that I did,
Oh, yeah.
that Walter could do like some of those appliques as stained glass panels, which he could because the pattern's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So we're thinking about that.
I have to see what colors the glass I have.
Well, you almost use anything
Yeah.
because you're not going for realism. The applique is not done with realistic colors. But anyway, so yesterday there was a big tent sale at Ultimate Sewing, our local shop, and it was a zoo. And we knew it would be. We went right just before the doors opened. There's a lineup of women there. They have all their fabric. Well, not all their fabric. They have a whole bunch of fabric they're trying to get rid of for like about half price. We bought a few things, and then we went back later in the day when the crowd dispersed because they were putting out more stuff, but they were dropping the price a little bit more. Bought a little bit more then. I have more fabric than I know
I
what to
think
do
they were
with.
trying to clear out some of the stuff hasn't been moving in
Yeah.
the store.
Yeah, it could be. Any more long arm experience? Catherine says yes. Went on this past Wednesday and did another quilt, which I'm going to show tomorrow on the vlog. And I'm booked in to go on Tuesday at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon to finish up another quilt to get that done. So after that one is done, I only have one more quilt that's ready for quilting, and that one I can't do on the long arm because I've already layered it and everything. And to pull it apart to get it so it works in the long arm machine is can be done, but it's a major pain in the butt. So I'm just going to do it on my domestic machine. I'm not sure yet how I'm going to do it, what I'm going to do with it. I may just go as simple as walking foot quilting like I've done on some other ones before, just to get it done, so I can move on to other projects.
Laura says she wants one made out of those faces fabric that you bought. You
Oh.
only bought a fat quarter, didn't you?
Yeah, it wasn't even a fat quarter. That was less than a fat quarter. I think. Well, it might have been about a fat quarter. Yeah, the problem is with that one, that was a discontinued line of fabric, and they only had one piece of it, so I can't make a quilt out of it alone. Although I might be able to do something. There's several faces on that fabric. I might be able to do something with that in a larger piece, but I don't know. It's an idea for later on. Okay, so anything in the news that's shocking us besides the usual?
Well, I don't know. Actually, I haven't looked at the news the last couple of days. There's
No.
always something about Trump every day, but
Oh yeah, well,
the racist thing. But
the racist thing, but that, and then with our premier, that they're on summer retreat right now. But there was something. Oh yeah, our premier. He's for the little people. That's what he campaigned on to get into power. That he cares about the little people, and he doesn't. But he gives out his cell phone number. The idea is that you can call him, whoever you are in Ontario, you can give him a call if you got a problem or something, or you want to talk to him about it, and he will get back to you and he will answer you. And he prides himself on doing this kind of thing. His brother, Rob Ford, when he was mayor of Toronto, did the same thing. Well, I guess he's been inundated with so many calls that he canceled his cell phone plan on that. Couldn't keep up with it. I have a feeling there wasn't a lot of calls on there that were patting him on the back and saying, "You're doing a really good job, just wanted you to know." Pretty sure he didn't get that. Apparently there was a campaign to inundate him with calls too from different special interest groups that are not happy with what he's done, like people in education, people with autistic children, things like that, healthcare system. He's basically pissed off everybody. So he should
and
have
he was
known.
getting like 500 text messages a day too.
Yeah, Roy's here. Hi, Roy. Oh, Bootsy says his nap lasted longer than expected. Heat is getting me. Yeah. But anyway, so that was about all that was in the news. Mention what Chris says. So that takes us to, well, no, actually I'm going to jump. Before we get right into today's main discussion about stupid things people do, let's jump down to what we're watching because I've missed that the last few weeks. I saw a really interesting, sort of a dramatized documentary about The Last Tsar. And it was on Netflix, and it's called The Last Tsars. And actually, it was pretty good, I thought. It's about 6 parts to it, I think. But it was actually really, really interesting.
Let me top up your drink before.
Yeah, fine. It was really interesting. Of course, we just finished the 2nd season of Anne with an E, which is Anne of Green Gables. Famous Canadian book. But actually, the series is pretty good. And it's a little bit... it's got a one character. Now, it's supposed to take place after the time period is after the First World War. So it's in around 1919, 1920, that kind of thing. In rural Prince Edward Island. And they have a gay character in there. And they also have another character who is an older lady, a spinster lady, who has a lot of money, who the suggestion was she had a long-term female companion who had died, and whatnot. And it's just interesting because I don't think in the Anne of Green and Gable books, and there were lots of them in the series, I don't think any of those were issues that came from the books. I think this is something the modern writers of adapting the book have put in. But I thought it was kind of interesting that they would do that because it is a period piece as well. Not saying there weren't gay people at that point in time, but I'm just the way the characters have to react to this information is kind of interesting. I think it's very forward thinking of the people who put this together. But it's a really good series. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. And we're watching one called Pose. Now, Pose is on FX here. I'm not sure what it's on in the States. It's been out, it has 2 seasons, and apparently it's up for Emmy Awards. But it's basically about what they called the ball culture of the 1980s, which was sort of an underground thing. Mostly blacks participated in it. The transgendered community were involved, gays, lesbians, and other people. And it's where Vogue came from. It was the inspiration for Madonna's song Vogue in the 90s, because basically they have runway shows with themes, and they have to walk down the runway, show off what they're wearing, and they have to pose, basically Vogue, kind of a thing. And there are big competitions, and there's these houses involved most of them have the leader of the house is called Mother. It's a woman, or it could be a transgendered person. You're never really sure in the show who's biologically representing their sex and who's the transgendered. It's not subtle, but it takes time. They don't just come out and say, bang, this person's transgendered. It's a really good show, though. We're almost finished the first season. So if you haven't heard of it, check it out, because it's worth the watch, I think.
I think they have actually glamorized it a bit, but...
Oh, Laura says the original books for Anne of Green Gables were set in the Edwardian times. Oh, okay. But the television show
is a documentary years ago that Pose is probably based on.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Paris is Burning. I can't remember about.
Yeah, it's on Netflix right now still, but I saw it. I watched it. Yeah. But I don't think it is. I don't think it's based on Paris is Burning, Roy. It's this was a subculture that existed in New York, according to the documentaries I have seen about this. That was sort of underground. And it was primarily part of the black community, too, at the time. Now, there's probably elements of Paris Burning. I don't remember too much about that movie. I did watch it. I should watch it again. But this actually, apparently the ball culture, they call it, still exists. So I don't know. But it's interesting no matter what. Now, it's based on a certain amount of fact, but they've taken a lot of liberties. Like we were just talking about this afternoon. They have these people take in wayward kids off the street and try to give them a bit of a life and in this culture and the whole bit. And no one seems to be, they don't have great jobs or anything, but there seems to be money for all kinds of things. But they don't explain where the money comes from. And these balls they have seem to be big affairs with trophies and everything, but they never mention where the money comes from. So I guess you're not supposed to question that.
I mean, there was a indication that some of them were involved in prostitution.
Oh, and Roy says he used to go to the pier in New York where some of the folk would practice their routines. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I had never heard of this until I saw the show.
Well, we're Canadians.
Yeah. I don't think we have ball culture in Canada.
No.
That I know of. At least not the kind of ball culture they're talking about. But anyway, moving on. We did watch, when we were away last weekend, we watched 2 movies on Netflix. We watched The Fast and the Furious 8. Why? I don't know. But, it's a mindless kind of little movie you can watch. Everybody's running around in cars and doing fast things and stuff like that. You don't have to think about it. And then we watched one really weird. but kind of interesting, called Cam. And it's about this girl who has her own, like a YouTube channel, but it's not on YouTube. It's one of those type of channels that people can pay money or give tokens to see people do things in a sexual nature kind of a deal. Sort of like, I guess it might be the equivalent of a modern technological version of what they used to call peep shows, which were basically, I've never been to one, but basically from what I understand, and in fact there's, in this pose, there's a scene with a peep show where basically girls scantily clad were behind glass and guys would go into a room, put in quarters or something into a slot machine, and there'd be a window, but the window's covered. Well, the window would open up, as in like the curtains or the, I don't know, blackout panel or something would go up, and there'd be the girl doing suggestive things. And then you had so much time, and I guess then it would shut down. You have to put in more quarters or whatever for it, or tokens or something. I don't know. But anyways, this Cam is kind of like that, except sort of like a YouTube channel, and someone steals her identity, but they look exactly like her. In fact, you never figure out at the end of the movie what's really going on with that, but it's kind of intriguing. It's not the best in terms of, you know, acting ability and stuff like that, but it's kind of different. Oh, Chris is here. Hi, Chris. And Tracy says, I'm just waiting for Eddie Murphy's comeback on Netflix. Oh, is he supposed to be doing something soon? I haven't heard anything about that. Okay, so that's what we've been watching. I just finished one book that I picked up, a Canadian author, actually from our area. I think a place, not right in our city, but another city close by. And I bought it at that steampunk festival that we went to way back a month and a half ago. I bought that book, and I just finished reading it, and it was okay. And there's another one I've started to by another Canadian author, a new one. These are not big name authors. You've never heard of them. One's called Tracy L. Ward, and the other one is Nancy M. Pattenden. Not big names on the market, but they write murder mysteries basically. But they both take place in like Edwardian Victorian Canada, actually. Well, no, one takes place in England. The other one actually takes place in Toronto. That's the one I'm reading right now. Yeah, amusing little summer read kind of a thing. Tracy says 70 million.
He has to support those 10 kids. I didn't know he had 10
No,
kids.
God. No, well, everybody needs a hobby. You know what his is. What's cooking? Walter did a prime rib last night in the sous vide, and it came out perfect.
I finished it on the barbecue.
Mm-hmm. Well, to sear it.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But that was good. And tonight, we're doing Mexican. We're doing tacos. It's Taco Sunday. Okay, so that brings us up to speed on all the bits and pieces of little nothings that are happening. So, this week, we thought we would talk. I was trying to think of a way to title this so it wouldn't be offensive. My first thing was, and where's I'm having a mental block, sorry. Shoot. Phyllis. Okay. Phyllis was getting upset with me when I first suggested this as a topic. So, stupid things old people do. All right. And then I got thinking about that and going, well,
it doesn't necessarily be old people.
They don't have to be old people to do some of these things. And then I thought, stupid people tricks. Well, I have to admit that some of the things we'll probably talk about today that I have probably done myself in the past. And so maybe that's not the right way to put it. But now it's more like stupid things people do with the idea that they annoy you to no end. And it's usually in public. I'm not talking about stupid things people do privately. I'm talking about things that happen to us every day, and we know they're just stupid. Okay? Not necessarily the people are. There could be reasons why they do these things. not just because they're stupid. But anyway, so Pracy says stupid people tricks on Letterman. Ah, yeah, that's where I've heard it before. Thanks, Pracy. Steal my thunder on that tune. So, starting with, let's talk about driving, shall we? And a lot of things here. Like, you get behind somebody who's doing way below the speed limit. Like, and I'm sorry, but a lot of times those are people who are older than us. It says it's 60 kilometers an hour and they're doing 40 kilometers an hour. And of course, everybody behind you is beeping their horn, thinking it's you, and it's the one in front and you can't do anything about it. So, I mean, why? Or there's the ones who decide they're going to stop in the middle of the road because they're looking for a specific address instead of pulling over. That's how accidents happen, don't they? Jody says, people driving without a license or any ID whatsoever and without insurance. Yeah. Well,
that's a biggie in
he did it once.
I did it this week. I did it this week by accident.
What, this week?
Yeah, we went.
You drove without a license? Oh, that you're talking about. I was talking about that whole year. You drove for a whole year without realizing you'd forgotten to renew your driver's license.
Yeah, I did. When I was at my old job, we get every year we get license renewal for our car. So it's our license plate renewal, and then every so often your license. Your actual driver's license
Every 5 years
expires. And so I was sitting there at my desk one day and I thought, when's my driver's license expire? Right? I looked at it and I go, holy crap, it expired over a year. Right? So I've been driving around with that license for a year. Well, actually, I even rented a car in Holland, and they didn't say that my license was expired.
So, I mean, there you go. It wasn't just, wonder how many years you could have got away with that.
And what happened was, because it had been expired for over a year with our laws, I had to go for an eye test again to get it reinstated.
They probably figured you couldn't see the expiry date on it.
Yeah, maybe.
With it. But yeah, so, stupid things like that.
Well, I was really upset when I saw that. Like, I was like, how could that happen? So now I check every year.
Yeah. Well, they send us a thing all the time, though, for it. So how did you miss that?
I don't know. Either I didn't get it or something.
Or, well, there was that one year where I'm thinking, they usually send us the renewal 3 months before your birthday.
Yeah.
And a couple of years ago, I didn't think anything of it. And then I realized, hey, this is July. And I haven't got a renewal for actually not for my license, but for my license plate sticker. Get those once a year. So I went down. No, I went online and filled it all out, and they never sent it to me. But they never charged me either, like the fee for it. That was how it worked. So I had to go down to the office, and transportation office, and I said to her, she looks at me and goes, oh, yeah, there were a lot of people didn't get the notice this year and everything got all screwed up by the computer. All right. So then I had to go through the rigmarole standing in line when I could have done it online, but I couldn't do it online because they had screwed this up and the whole bit. And that was their attitude. Yeah, computer went down. Computer says no. So, whatever. Another stupid thing. Jody says she's shocked at you. Oh, and Andy says, I like the people who cut out in front of you, then go below the speed limit. Yeah, I know that. Or the other thing that pisses me off about people that are driving, stupid things they do, is you're one block between two sets of lights. They're just itching, like as though it hits green. They're just revving the engine up like they're in a, excuse me, Indy kart race. And then zoom right up, and for that whole block, and then you pull up beside them. Like, did that get you really ahead? No.
Or they pass me because they're upset because I'm going too slow.
Yeah, or whatever.
Or something, and I'm not going slow. I'm going probably over the speed limit.
Well, that's the other thing that people do stupid. I mean, what is it? Speed limits are just a suggestion, I guess. You're doing 60 kilometers, and there's always somebody behind you that's just riding your bumper, And then you got to watch out for those ones because you come up to a light, and I like to, if I see the light has turned yellow, that doesn't mean to me step on the gas and go even faster. It means it's going to turn red, stop. You got to stop. Well, these ones that are riding on your bumper, they anticipate that you're going to do like what a lot of people seem to be doing these days, rip right through the yellow. In fact, they rip right through a red, too. That's why there's accidents at intersections and the whole bit. So you don't know if they're going to be right up your butt.
So how about people that cross 4 lanes of traffic to get to the exit? And then you know what else I hate is people that are getting out of a parking lot onto like a 4-lane road, and it's busy as hell, and they have to turn left out of there, right? Like, I mean, myself, I don't like, if it's really, really, really busy, I don't like to cross 4 lanes of traffic to make a left-hand turn. I will go out of my way to make a right-hand turn to go around the block. And it's just because I want to be as safe as possible. A lady I worked with years ago, it was Christmas time. She turned left. Tried to turn left out of a really busy mall at Christmas time, and it's because she had to go the one way, right? And even she had an accident doing that. And the police officer said, "Why in the world were you trying to cross all these lanes of traffic during this busy time of year? Why didn't you just go around the block?" And she goes, "Yeah, but I had to turn left because that was the shortest way to get to my destination." But you risk.
Left turns are always dangerous. Well, because you're crossing across more lanes of traffic than going into one. And I don't know why they insist.
Now, mind you, if you're in Australia, that's a right turn.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. So for Chris. But, yeah, and Laura says, or those who weave. Oh, yeah. And
yeah, on the highway. You're on the highway, and you're already going over the speed limit, and then somebody bumps by you that's going even faster, and they're weaving in and out of traffic.
Yeah. So they're probably texting, putting on their makeup, reading a novel, having.
No, that's the weavers that go in and out.
Yeah, the ones that go like that. Okay,
yeah. Like
I'm talking the creepers. The ones that you see drifting over towards the line and are starting to go over it, and then they come back.
Yeah.
And they do this repeatedly, and you know that they're probably not really drunk. They're probably texting, which in our country, in our province, that's against the law. It's called distracted driving, but that's what pisses me off too. That's a stupid people thing there too, or stupid things people do. Because look, we lived without cell phones for years and years and years and drove all over the place. Now, why is it suddenly I'm driving, my phone rings, I have to answer it right then and there? Now, those that use the hand-free thing, but I don't know if I really agree with the hands-free thing either, because now your attention is directed at what the person is saying, and you're supposed to be driving too. And with people running up your rear end, people weaving in and out, all that kind of stuff, there's way too much to think about. So, if you got an important call, pull over. What's the big deal? Just pull over. Maybe it's that multitasking kind of thing that people do.
Australia has a lot of traffic cameras.
Yeah.
That you can't get around. And you do really notice it with traffic. I noticed with traffic in Australia is people are not as aggressive when they drive.
No, not like here. Which was kind of nice. People actually in Australia seem to be, from what we experienced, very courteous as drivers. Not here, at least not in the GTA, Greater Toronto area. They're not.
Drivers that don't pull over for emergency vehicles. Yeah, we got that here.
Mm-hmm.
That's annoying.
What's Roy say? The new thing here on the parkways is to use extended right lane exit to pass cars in front, then squeeze back into traffic. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Actually, I've seen where I used to be on the highway a lot when I was coming back from work, and there were a couple of spots on the highway where the off ramp for the highway was right across from the on ramp to the highway on a road. Like you would turn off to go onto a turn off road, right? But the on ramp was across the turn off road, right? So what people were doing is when it was really busy, they would go down the off ramp, cross the road. They're not supposed to do this. Cross the road, and then go back on the on-ramp to the other side so that they could avoid a whole section of congestion. Right? And that was really annoying.
Laura says there's one between Whitby and Oshawa.
Yeah, it is. That's the Ajax one. Or it used to be the Ajax. It was the Salem Road one.
That's right. Well, the other thing too is, and this one is an old person thing, I'm sorry. There's a reason why after you, what age is it then you have to
I don't
retest
know.
it? Is it 80
It might have been 80. Yeah.
or something where you have to do the test all over again? I think it's 80 at that. Well, there are some older people out there that really, they shouldn't have a driver's license anymore because they are a danger to themselves and to other people. You know, you get to be 80. Not everybody at 80 is this way, but you know, your faculties, your reaction time slows down, your eyesight isn't as good, the whole bit. And, you know, I don't think it's a bad thing that they have to be retested.
Oh, it's kind of like that guy around the corner from here. We were driving out of the subdivision. The guy backs out of his driveway, hits a parked car across the road, just runs right into it to the point where he lifts the car off the road, right?
Yeah.
And just continues on as if nothing's happened. We witnessed it and actually reported it to the police. Maybe
Well, we reported to the guy that owned the
on the
car.
car, yeah.
We saw
And he
it.
reported to the police that we saw it.
And apparently that was not the first time this guy's done this.
Yeah.
To either. So I don't know what his problem was, but
And his wife said, well, he's, what did he say? He was hard of hearing.
yeah.
And he may not have heard him hit the other car. Well,
No. Well,
you
then-
would have felt it.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't all that old though either. I mean, he wasn't like 85 or 90 years old or something like that. He was older than us, but I don't know.
I thought he was close to 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And he had trouble walking too.
Oh, all right. Now, I get it. With older people, you take away their driver's license, you're taking away part of their independence as well, at least in this country, because really our public transportation system sucks majorly in this country. It always has. We're a big country. We have vast distances to get from one place to the other. I mean, a car is a necessity. It is not a luxury item. And you take away somebody's right to drive, and you've taken away some of their independence and the whole bit. So I get it. But then you have to balance that with how much of a threat are they to themselves and to other people on the road. So I don't know what the answer is to that.
Then you got one of the idiots I used to work with. It's not funny. She had her father, who was, I don't know how old he was at the time, but he would take the car, he wasn't supposed to take the car out, but he would take the car out and then get lost because he couldn't remember how to get home.
Okay, well, there's that problem too. Well, my mother, once she got into the apartment, she was still driving. She had a car, but she was becoming a very nervous driver. And so finally it just got to the point where she didn't want the car around anymore. And so we got rid of it and the whole bit. And I felt better about that too, because quite honestly, I did not trust my mother out in a car either. So,
But then you get the ones who don't seem to get.
what?
Then you've got the ones that decide they want to drive their scooter on the road.
Oh, this is the newest stupid thing. Okay. I'm sure you've seen it. Those people who are in the motorized wheelchairs, actually they're more elaborate than just a motorized wheelchair. They're like a scooter. And they're just bombing down the sidewalk or on the side of the road. And when I say bombing, they might be doing a whole 20 kilometers an hour at top speed. But they are not a car. And I'm surprised we don't see more of them laying in a ditch sideways. Because at least around in our area where they're driving them all over the place. And then they get those suckers in a store. And they're right up your butt. And they're too big. You go to a grocery store, and it seems like any more grocery stores, the aisles get skinnier and skinnier and skinnier so they can get more and more stuff packed in on their shelves. There is no room for one of those scooters and other people. especially if you've got a shopping cart. So you hit a Mexican standoff in the middle of the aisle. Who's going to back up here? It's not the ones in the scooters that are, because for some reason they think that because they're in a scooter, they should be treated special. And today we were at Costco, and you know, Costco has these those little scooter kind of things meant for customers who have difficulty walking. Okay, first of all, here's my problem with that. Isn't that nice that they're giving them to them? How did they get to the store in the first place if they're having difficulty walking? Because Costco parking lots are now nowhere close to the entrance. And during a parking spot in a Costco parking lot are miles away.
It annoys me is that there are some people using them
that shouldn't
be using them. Because there was one day I was in there and there was a woman in one and her daughter was in another one. And it was like they were racing around the Costco inside. JK says new topic needed. I guess we're offending somebody.
I don't know. JK, who are you? We've never seen you before. Welcome to the site. What do you mean new topic? We're moving to other topics. Our show, not yours. We're moving on. If we're boring you, turn us off. Andy says, I had to use a scooter when I had, I can't say that word. I know it's a bad thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, there's a legitimate reasons for using them. But what I'm saying is I saw one woman, she was probably in her late 30s. She had about 3 kids with her. She had the 3 kids all on the scooter with her. It wasn't her scooter, it was the Walmart's scooter. And she's bombing around with kids on it like it's a ride. Now, does she have a problem? If you have a walking problem, that's serious, that you need a scooter, how did you get in the store in the first place to use the store's scooter? That's what I'm saying. I don't see a walker. I don't see you in a wheelchair. If you're in a wheelchair, you'd be doing your own thing.
Well, actually, it was funny because I was in, I think it was in, I can't remember what store it was in. It was either Walmart or a thing. A younger woman came in with her husband, and she was in a cast, and she was hobbling around the store. Yeah. And one of the clerks in the store said, well, we have scooters at the front. You can get one. She goes, I'm young. She says, I don't want to use a scooter for somebody that really needs it.
Yeah. Besides
that, she says, I got to rehabilitate anyway. So.
And that takes you to the whole thing too, talking about people who need those kind of things. The wheelchair parking spaces.
We went through that once.
Well, we went through that. Well, then we don't need to go through it again. But you know what I mean. You always question whether or not the people that are parking in those spots really need to be parking in those spots. I mean, I've seen many of them that don't have openly out, the little sticker that says, we get a wheelchair spot kind of thing. So I never know. And you never know if you should say something when you see somebody get out of a car.
Sudocuse said that I had to get from the parking lot to the store walking with 2 canes. Yeah, I don't really want to come up to somebody and say, do you really need that or not? I kind of assume that somebody's done that. They really do need it, right? But then I did see this one lady who I kind of assumed the lady needed it. But then she had a young daughter with her that was getting off the scooter and walking down the aisle and getting stuff from the aisle and then hopping back on the scooter and taking off on it with her mother. Well, the thing is that what annoyed me about that is that she is using up a scooter for somebody that might really need it. And that annoys me.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just, and the other thing that annoys me about it too is how they drive them. All right, and that's what I meant about the grocery store
before.
Yeah,
I'm in the lineup, and there's one ahead of me, and then she decides to put it. They decide to put it in reverse instead of forward, and then you run into you.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's just stupid, I guess. Okay, so that's about driving. And okay, let's talk about parking spots. This happened to us, and I decided to make a slight stink about it. We're at Costco. This was not today, this was a couple of weeks ago. And Costco, everybody is driving all around looking for parking spots, looking for that one closest to the door, because heaven knows your legs are painted on and you might need that, or it starts to rain, and we all know as soon as people get wet they melt. So we're driving around, and well, first of all, a woman decides that someone is coming out of a parking spot that's close. So she's waiting for this person to leave the parking spot, oblivious that she's got 4 cars behind her that can't get around her because she's not into one side.
And it's not like
She's
the
in the
parking,
center.
It's not like the parking lot has no parking spaces in it.
But that one she had to have.
There's no parking that was close to the door,
Yeah.
right?
And she had to have that particular spot. It was important she
Okay,
have
so then
that.
I go around the block to park in another spot, but it's a park spot that you could actually pull through to the other side, right? So I'm beginning to enter the one spot. Then there's somebody coming in from the other side, and they decide to pull through, so that
Which, if
I
we hadn't
can't
been
get
paying
in.
attention, we could have had a little head on right there. So, and this guy's oblivious to the fact that we were going to pull in to this spot. So we went around and we parked in behind him because there was, as he came right through the 2 spots, and so we went in behind and parked there. So we're getting out of the car at the same time as he is, and I'm looking at him and he goes, so I kind of made a joke of it, but it wasn't really a joke. I was being sarcastic, but obviously he didn't know me well enough to know that I was being sarcastic. He says, well, thanks a lot for cutting us off. And he goes, oh, I didn't see you. I said, I know you didn't see us. That was the end of the
Okay, and then
discussion.
Presley says, I'm getting tired of all the special parking spots at supermarkets, handicapped mothers with babies, pick up pregnant moms, etc. Actually, I can understand the wheelchair spots.
Yeah,
That
the
I don't
wheelchairs
have a
are
problem
fine.
with. I have a problem with the expectant mothers or mothers with children.
I have a problem with that. I have a big problem with that. Pregnancy has been happening since the beginning of time. Women used to go out into the fields and go, dear, could you get that? They just gave labor to it and the whole bit. Now, what is it? Because they're pregnant, they can't waddle their way up to the door. First of all, if you're that bad that you can't move, shouldn't you be in bed because you've got a special situation? And don't give me this line that you've got little kids with you and you need a special parking spot.
Well, see, I don't mind the
No.
handicap spots, but what I get ticked off is people that abuse the handicap spots. Like somebody's son takes mommy's handicap thing, and because he doesn't want to park far away from the door, and shoves it in his front window, and able-bodied walks out of the car. Nobody else is in the car, but he's got a handicap sticker on it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the wheelchair ones are fine. I get that. That's fine. But you don't need it for expectant mothers, and you don't need it for people with mothers with small children, with children. You know, if you're worried about your kid getting flattened in a parking lot, then hold on to their little hand so the two of you can get flattened together. It's a family thing. I don't know. What's being said here? Tracy says, I'm getting tired of all the special parking spots. Superman must be up. And Andy says, my ex would drive around and around the parking lot to find a spot close to the doors. One time I told him just to drop me off. Yeah. Or here's another stupid thing. And I'm going to get in trouble for this one right now because it is women. How many times do you go to a shopping center and the men drive the car up to the doors of the parking of the shopping center to let the wife out or the girlfriend, and then he has to go off and find a parking spot? Okay, I have a problem with that if they're an able-bodied person. Okay, if they're not an able-bodied person, okay, if they have trouble walking the whole bit, then yes, I could get it. But what happens is those spots all in front of the doors of a shopping center or something, or a store, those aren't parking spots. They usually have signs up that say no stopping, but they do anyways. Go to Walmart. You see it at Walmart all the time.
The other thing that annoys me is that, oh, I just have to go in and get one small item, so I'll park my car in front of the doors of the store.
Which is not a parking spot.
Which is not a parking spot. And then they go in and they have to buy like cigarettes or a lottery ticket or something like that. And they end up taking longer than that 1 minute. And that's annoying.
Yeah. Hi, Brenda. Yeah, and
then there's also the one that I've seen where You see a guy waiting in a car, standing outside the grocery store or something like that, waiting for their wife to come back.
Yeah. If you want to be a help to her with the grocery shopping, why don't you park your car and go in with her? You know, if she needs help with the bags or something like that, then why don't you go in with it? No. Lazy people. And the problem is, the way most of these parking lots are designed too, there's not a lot of room to get around them. Or there's pedestrians coming out in front of these cars and you can't see them. I'm surprised there hasn't been more people killed or maimed because of that situation. That's just stupid.
Okay, now the other thing that annoys me is that there's people here that seem to think that sidewalks are a bike lane.
A bike lane. Mm-hmm.
And I had it a couple of times where I've tried to pull out of a parking lot, and then all of a sudden a bike comes zipping by right in front of me.
Oh, but never blame the bikers. It's always the car's fault. They get so much on their high horse, they don't follow the rules of the road. They run the red signs. What they'll do is, when there's a red light at an intersection, instead of stopping, they just turn their bike around, go across where the pedestrian is for the green, and then get to the side where the light's where they want it, and off they go. On the whole bit. And then they wonder why they get creamed. It's nuts. Chris says, love the idea of an emergency crafter spot for those desperate to craft. Yeah. Oh, yes, it's a crafting emergency. Yeah, okay, I agree with you on that one. Laura says, unless he doesn't want to shop with her. Laugh out loud. The ones that let them off, yeah. They're the ones you see the door opens really quick and a foot is pushing them out the side. Start the car. Joyce says, oh, my dear dad used to do that for my mom. Let her out and go park. I think that's nice, actually. Old school chivalry. No, sorry. Chivalry died when women started to fight for equal rights. You can't have both. No. If you've got legs, if you can walk with no problem, I say get your ass out of the car in the parking lot and get it into the store. Hell with that. I'm sorry. No bloody way.
Actually,
No.
I tend not to park that close. I tend to park farther away.
Oh, well, you want to talk about stupid things people do. Walter in parking. I said, there's one there.
It's
How
not
about that
skinny
one?
enough for me.
No, that one's not wide. Like, you think he was driving the Titanic.
I don't want my car, the doors get dinged.
No, yeah. Oh, there's annoying things about people who park, who have expensive cars and park diagonally across two parking spots.
That's interesting. Inviting
What?
Thought says we have drop-down areas in our shopping centers to drop people off.
Oh,
That's an interesting
well, that's an
concept.
interesting concept. I haven't seen that.
Well, knowing your
Around here.
ears, they could give you an area like that, but they'd still find a closer spot.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of... Well, they do that at public schools, at elementary schools. They have they keep the traffic moving in the morning because
Kiss and ride.
because nobody's kid walks to school anymore. They all have to be chauffeur driven to school because heaven forbid again, they might get exercise or some pervert's going to pick them up off the
or
street.
rain may fall and they'll melt.
Whatever. But they have a traffic flow thing. Basically it's what do they call it, kiss and ride or something. They drive it in, kick the kid out, boom, keep going, kind of a deal.
That's what they had at GO stations or commuter stations. Kiss and ride, an area where they could drop off their wives or whatever to.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's lazy people on that one. So what? You got to walk a couple of 10 feet more. Is it really going to kill you? Maybe for some people it does. Laura says, I despise when bikes drive in the sidewalks. It's a sidewalk. Right. And Laura also says, kiss and ride, but now no parent uses them at my school. Oh. So what do? Kick the kids off on the side of the road? Makes it easier for me to run over them. Oh, did I say that out loud? Damn right I did.
We recently changed our laws that no child under the age of 10 is allowed to walk to school without an adult.
I don't think we have that law.
No, but they do have something that Jesse said, my sister said, that when she was dropping her grandchildren off at school. When they go to pick them up again, you have to kind of show ID to make sure that they're.
Well, I get that because, like, even in the high schools, all the schools, if you're
Laura
a
says
visitor,
they drop them off at the front door.
Oh.
Yeah, so they don't drop them off at the designated area. They ignore that. And then,
oh, just okay, whatever. I don't know what's it saying about our world then. If like what Chris is saying, there's a law that no child under the age of 10 is allowed to walk to school. When I was 7 years old, I walked 50 miles both ways in a snowstorm all year round to get to school. Didn't kill me. I'm fine. Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyways, my Laura says I'm a high school and the little darlings can't walk for a minute. Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, these are stupid things people do. And stupid is as stupid does. So, parking. Food shopping. Oh, one of my favorite little worst. That's where you find the stupidest things that people can do is in a grocery store or shopping. Like, we all know the ones who stop in the middle of an aisle with their shopping cart and admire, stand back like they're in an art gallery and admire the food on the shelf, going, I don't know what I want. Oh, I wonder what that might taste like.
and they're oblivious
Ooh.
to the fact that there might be a cart coming behind them or.
And I stand there and I will say, excuse me. And they are still oblivious. Sometimes I've had to raise my voice and go, excuse me. And then they look at you and go, like, why are you bothering me? Because you're in my way, kind of a thing. Like, is it killing you to just move over a couple of inches so I can get by you? I don't get it. Laura says, and then the parents rush out and I almost hit. And I was almost hit. And I with a cane. Oh, okay. Well, Laura, with your cane, you should hit back. If I get a cane, that's what I'm going to do. Tracy says, I live near National Park. We spent $5 million. I don't know what a decades ago. Okay. Spent $5 million decades ago to install a bike run path in 3 Park and no one uses it. They ride in the street. Yeah. And Roy says, ooh, I do that at the refrigerator in the kitchen.
Yeah, but nobody's trying to get by you.
Yeah, but there's nobody trying to get by in that, Roy. It is worse when they park their cart diagonally across the aisle. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or, the old joke, clean up on aisle 3? Well, I have seen the hit and run ones before. That slips out of their hand or their lovely, precious little child is picking things off the shelf and it goes, oops, and it on the floor.
Yes.
They just grab the kid and run down the thing.
I remember I was in a store not too long ago, and the obnoxious child that she had with her, decided to start picking things off the shelf when the mother was oblivious. The next thing you heard, crash, smash.
Yeah.
And, oh, what did you do, dear? I told you not to do that.
Yeah, listened well. Really, when I was a little kid shopping with my mother, we were told to touch nothing. And if we did, we got beaten right there in the aisle. So, of course, today that would be considered child abuse, wouldn't it?
Of course, we knew enough not to touch anything.
Yeah, because we knew we'd get beaten. But whatever. Oh, and of course, I don't have to do much with this one because I have said this before because my favorite pet peeve of all grocery stores is the express line. 8 items or less, and the one in front of you's got 17 or whatever.
Yeah,
and
but
there's a lineup
what
behind you.
annoys me is last time we were in the grocery store, all they had was the 8 item or less thing open and one
that's true.
and one other till open, and the one other till was lined up halfway out the door because the people were observing the 1 to 8 item thing.
Yeah. Well, Tracy says, my local market has a robot that rolls around the market to look for spills. Ooh, a robo. Do they have one that would gobble up small children? That would be good. I I love the people, Andy says, I love the people who walk around the store eating the grapes. Yes, or drinking the coffee when they're grocery shopping. Why is it that you feel when you're in a grocery store that you need to have your lunch then? Or that you really need to have a cup of coffee? Here's the problem with the cup of coffee. You got one hand on the cart, you got one hand on the coffee cup. What's going to spill?
And the other thing that annoys me is when they do have this coffee cup and they finish it, they decide to leave it somewhere in the store on the shelf.
Yeah, leave it on the shelf next to the mustard or something like that. Like, what is that? You can't wait. You need coffee so desperately when you're grocery shopping that you just have to have it then? I don't get it at all. Chris says, we also have some bike-free highways. If you're caught riding a bike, the cops put your bike in their boot and you were dropped off at the next exit, but don't get your bike back. That's good. Precy
I
says,
don't think you're allowed to drive bike on
you're not on the 401. No, they've got that. Precy says it's celeb culture. Bootsy says because it's free. What's free?
Maybe your coffee.
Oh, maybe. Oh,
well, no, actually, the coffee isn't free. What Steve's referring to is they'll stop at a coffee shop,
like Tim Hortons or something, or
which
Starbucks,
would be the same as Dunkin' Donuts or something like that, and they pick up a coffee through the drive-through on the way to the grocery store, but they insist on carrying their coffee cup around in the grocery store or the hardware store or something like that.
And that's just another cleanup on aisle 3 just waiting to happen at that point. Like, to me, grocery shopping is not this leisurely little, like, let's have coffee, let's have a chat on the phone, let's do this and that. And that's
also the big annoying thing is, and I've seen this, is they don't keep their coffee cup to throw out in the garbage can.
No.
After they're done. They decide to put it on a shelf somewhere.
Or they leave it in the cart.
Yeah,
and so you pick up, or the garbage that's in those stupid shopping carts when you get it half the time. Like there's the sales brochures. Oh, that's another thing that pisses me off. In a lot of our grocery stores now, they do price matching with,
Yeah, we've already covered that before.
Oh, did we do that one? Well, and then they stand there for 3 hours as she has to read the fine print to see whether or not you're going to get the 2 cents off on the thing.
That's also perpetuated by the grocery store.
Yeah, that's true. Praise says, celebs start the coffee thing now. Mummy bloggers are doing it. I hate mummy bloggers. Bike lanes need to be marked off on the roads. Yeah, well, they put in bike lanes. We have bike lanes in our area. Not every road has them, of course.
But now we're not used to bike lanes.
No.
Now you run the risk of hitting a bike because we're not used to bike lanes.
Well, they basically take bike lanes, though, and squeeze them into an area that is just barely wide enough for a car, let alone a bike lane as well. So,
actually, in downtown Oshawa, they put a new bike lane in, but they took all the parking spots on the side of the road.
Okay, so there you go there, too. Chris says, I hate it when you are in a section looking for something and come across a melted pack of ice creams or a soggy pack of frozen pieces. Someone decided not to. Yeah, seen that. And Phyllis says many countryside bike lanes.
Yeah, the ice cream and stuff, they couldn't have returned.
They couldn't have gone back and put it back in where it would be frozen. Or the ones that really get me. Now, I haven't seen this a lot, but I have seen it. So, the mother's going down with the cart. She's doing her grocery shopping. She's got a whiny little kid with her, pugging at her. I want this, I want that. So the mother grabs a bag of cookies, opens them up, and is feeding the kid cookies from the bag. You never know whether that bag of cookies is actually going to be on her checkout list or if that bag of cookies is going back on the shelf. And talking about people touching your food when you're not supposed to. Today we went up to a little farmer's market kind of a thing, like just a little small farm where they had strawberries and stuff. And we were up there a couple of weeks ago buying some strawberries, and there was a sign that said, please don't handle the fruit. And what was this woman doing? She was buried up to her elbows trying to get the most perfect berries in her basket. So she's taking some out of this basket and putting some into her basket, then some from this one, back and forth. I just about said it, but I didn't. And that's the Canadian in me. I should have said, excuse me, are you blind? Are you illiterate? Are you just plain stupid? Read the sign. What's wrong with this picture now? Do I want to eat the stuff that you've already manhandled here and you're squeezing to see if they're ripe? Really? But I didn't. I only thought that in my head. Because I knew what the answer I would get out of that. She'd give me this look, like, why don't you just off and die? And that would be that. And there'd be other women around there, and it would be women doing this, okay? Going, oh, he's just so rude. Oh, how can you do that? Oh my God, she's just trying to see which ones are good because they're expensive, and we just have to squeeze them just to see if they're fresh because we don't want to get out of here and get ripped off because they're $15.99 for a basket, and that's a lot of money to buy for strawberries. And that's when you just want to get out your taser and go, here, feel this. Or a cattle prod. I've always thought a cattle prod would be a really nice accessory. I could use it in so many ways. But anyways, Pracy says, I also hate those kid-size shopping carts. Oh, those are, okay.
Or the ones that are huge because they've got a fake toy car on the front of it.
Oh, yeah.
That takes up out the whole aisle.
Yeah.
And that's the grocery store.
You know, in my little wicked imagination, I like to just go up the aisle and bang! Oh, I didn't see your little darling behind that little cart. I couldn't see them at all. I'm so sorry. Bang! Again, maybe roll over
You never
them.
did that.
I know, but I want to. But I won't. Because, I'd get in trouble. Chris says, bruise the fruit and veg for everyone else. Yep, exactly. And Andy says, if I'd been the proprietor, I would have made the lady buy all the containers she had touched. Yeah, well, I don't know if the proprietors were paying much attention. They were pretty busy with that. But, yeah, basically, I should have said something. But, I never do. So, what else was in that one? Yeah, we've covered all that. So, shopping in general. Okay, here's a good one. I may have said this before, and Walter will correct me if I have. But it's worth repeating. If you've ever worked in retail, okay, you will understand what I mean. You get the stupid questions, and they are so stupid. So, one of the women in the fabric store we go to is telling me about this one day, and I have experienced the same thing when I worked in the craft store. They come in and they go, hi, I was here 5 years ago and I bought some fabric. Okay.
You've said this many times.
Yeah, I probably have. But it's worth repeating. And then they say, yeah, and they go, okay, so how can I help you? Well, I want to know if you have more of that fabric. Then they stop. And go, okay, what was the name of it? I don't know. What did it look like? It was yellow. Did it have a pattern on it? I think so, but I'm not sure what it was. At that point, I would just say, I'm sorry, we're out. We can't get any more of it. But sometimes people try to help you even in the most ridiculous situations. I used to do that in the craft store too. So it's stupid questions like that. But other things they do when you go shopping.
Like,
Chatting up the cashier.
oh,
Why do you need to have a major conversation with the cashier at the checkout, especially when there are 10 people behind you who just want to check out their groceries and get the hell out, or whatever they're buying?
or cashiers that decide to check out what you're buying.
Oh, I've never tried that.
I've never
what do you
tried
think of
that.
that?
What's it like? I don't know. It's new for me too.
I know. Go out and buy some for yourself and try it. Like, why do they have to? Why then? I mean, isn't there a more appropriate time for having these kind of conversations? Like when the person isn't working, kind of a deal. But they always have that. I don't like friendly cashiers. Overly friendly. Pleasant. Business-like.
Actually, it sounds sexist, but I tend to pick the male cashiers because male cashiers
They don't
usually
talk to you.
Chat to you.
No.
They usually just check you through.
Move it on. Move it on. Move it on. That's fine by me. But I've had some who go, and how's your day going today? Fine. That's great. It's lovely weather, isn't it? Yes.
Why do men spit in parking lots? Exactly.
Oh,
That
that's
is the
disgusting.
grossest.
That is the most disgusting thing. Oh, yeah, we probably told this story too once in our travel thing. But we were
in New Zealand.
Yeah, it was New Zealand. We
We
were
were
getting
getting
off the ship.
I can't
for a
remember
tour.
what stop in New Zealand, but there was an American guy ahead of us, and he just
Just horked a loogie.
horked a
Right there.
one right down in front of one of the security staff in New Zealand. And she looked at the guy and said, "You don't do that here." And he looked at me, "What do you mean you don't do that here?" She goes, you don't spit, right? She goes, that's nasty. That's
disgusting.
Right? He goes, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? And she turned around and said, swallow it.
Yeah. And I wanted to give her a big applause for that one. I thought, very good, very good. The Chinese spit all the time. It is disgusting. And kids do it. When I went to school, we didn't spit.
My parents told me you could. That was something you don't do.
No, that's what my parents told me too. No.
My mother would never let me do that.
No. But now they just do it.
Now people do it all the time, and it drives me nuts.
And spitting out their gum on a sidewalk or something like that. Ew. For other people to step in, and you look down on a sidewalk and you see those big, that they've baked into the sidewalk now and the whole bit. Why do people have to do that? You don't have to do that. That's disgusting.
I don't do it. What do I do with it? I must swallow it. I don't know.
Look, if it's that bad that you have to get rid of it, there is a polite way to do that. You find...
You get a Kleenex
and kind of like...
and spit into it or something.
Yeah, like Andy says, my father used a handkerchief. Yeah. Just backing up. So when it rains, it rehydrates the spit and gets on your shoes. Oh, I know.
Well, actually,
Gross.
you know what? I'll tell you something that's really gross.
Oh, gross out time.
Gross is go to a gym and you go into the shower and somebody's...
Oh! Oh! Oh, God, no. Oh, gross. Gross. Oh. Oh.
And then you see it in the on the floor, and it's all like congealed. And
I'm going to throw up. You're going to make me spit. Actually, thinking of that, though, too, here's something that's gross as well, so I'm talking about it, is men's washrooms are not the nicest places, public washrooms, especially urinals. Urinals are disgusting, okay?
spit in them.
And they'll spit in those. And then, as a little funny aside, there are certain rules, there's certain etiquette that men need to follow when they go to a men's washroom. And we all know these instinctively. When you're at a urinal, eyes straight ahead, no conversation, no leaning over the partition if there's one, and having a discussion with somebody. So we go into the washroom in the theater that before the show started last weekend, and there's a guy in there, actually he was one of the ushers, I think. He decides to carry on a major conversation with us when we're using the facilities. And it was creepy. Really creepy.
Actually,
okay?
Laura says I wear flip-flops when I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be walking through that.
Oh. Yeah, and that's what Andy says too. But Roy says, no flip-flops at the urinal. No. That's just disgusting. So that's stupid things that people do too. Or this is the grossest. You said there was a guy, the nose thing.
Oh, what happened is, this happened to be...
I'm making myself gross.
This happens, and it seemed to be, like, I worked with a lot of Asian people at the work company. It seemed to be Asian people that were, like, not used to North America that much. Didn't seem to like to use Kleenexes. They would go to the bathroom and they would close one section of their nose and they would like blow their nose bit into the sink.
Oh, that's just disgusting.
And somebody would do that in the sink and I would get out of the washroom like in no time because I would just begin to get sick. Thank you. Hearing the noise.
Well, you want to know something? When people do stupid things like that, why is it that we all decide that we're just going to leave, we're not going to say anything? We should be more like that New Zealand security guard kind of a thing and walk up to the person and go, that's a disgusting habit and you're spreading disease by doing that and I don't appreciate that. Or you're touching food that other people want.
The thing is that
why don't we say that?
You're in a bathroom full of toilet paper. You can roll off a piece of toilet paper and blow your nose.
Yeah, that's just disgusting. Hi Nairi. Yeah, it's just, and those are just stupid things. I mean, some of this, I guess, boils down to just having manners, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about people who don't flush the toilet? Oh, yeah. You go into a cubicle in the public washroom and look, it's raft time. What's that floating in there? Oh, that's public washrooms are
sometimes
disgusting.
what that happens is it's an automatic flush toilet, and the automatic flush doesn't
Oh,
work.
that's true. Sometimes
Right?
you do run into
And
that.
Some people don't know that there's actually a button on the automatic flush toilet that you can push to force it to flush. But not everybody knows that.
No, you don't either, apparently, at home.
Well, no, that's not an automatic toilet.
Yeah, I know. It's like it has a handle. You know, you weren't born yesterday. The flush, and don't give me that thing about conserving water. You know, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down, kind of a thing. No. It's in there. It's gone. Get rid of it. Bye. Don't want to see you again. Anyways, we got into a lot of gross stuff on all that stuff. Oh, and the one that I love, one of the things that usually it's in the grocery store. You're in a checkout line, all the groceries have gone through, and I'm sorry, this is a woman thing because men don't carry purses, although some might carry a Merce. And although you don't see it as often anymore because everybody uses their Interact or their debit card or whatever, but they're trying for the exact change and they're digging in the purse. I think I have a nickel. It's just in here. Just give me a minute. Meanwhile, there's 10 people behind you as she roots through. Let's see. Cert, rain bonnet. Oh, I don't know what that was. I think that's broken off that kid's toy. And they're hunting through. And you even see the cashier stand there going.
We even said that before about people hunting for money while we're at the grocery. They wait for everything to go through. And then all of a sudden they decide, oh, wow, I have to pay.
And that's a stupid thing because we all know when you go into a store, if you've got something that you're buying, you are going to have to pay for it, right?
Well, I was buying somebody a while ago, and she stood there and watched all her groceries go through. She didn't bag anything.
Oh, that's the thing I hate.
She didn't bag anything. Finally, the bill came up, and then she went hunting through her wallet looking for her debit card. All through the wallet. And it was taking her forever to find the thing.
Sometimes you just want to go up to them and go, hi, are you just recently born? Is this your first time shopping? Do you know there's something called money or debit cards? Did you know you have to pay for things? It's not a big surprise at the end, really. It's not free. No, but whatever. And Chris says, just swipe your card and move on. Oh, yeah, or the ones who forget their PIN. They're standing there, they put the card in, and if it's not a tap machine or whatever on that, and then they go, the machine goes, and and they look at the cashier and say, oh, it's not working. Cashier's, okay, well, let's try again. She puts in whatever she has to put in at her end, and then the person, beep, 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 and it does the same thing. Well, I don't understand why it's not working. I gave it the right PIN number. Obviously, you did not. And then there's this staring between the two of them because they look at the cashiers.
Well, mind you, there is a possibility that there's...
Yes, on a rare occasion, there is the possibility. But most of the time, it's like, well, then, even if there's a mistake on the machine, then you have a decision you have to make. One, alternative form, i.e. cash, or a different card. Two, go, okay, I guess I can't pay for this stuff, so I guess I'm going to have to leave it. Or I'll just run over to the bank or something. I'll be back in a minute. Can you put this over the other side or something like that? I don't know. Bit embarrassing, I'm sure. Like it could have been embarrassing last week for you if I hadn't been there because you forgot your wallet at Ultimate Sewing. Although they know you so well, they would just say, sure, fine, you pay for it the next time.
Which I never do. I practically never leave my wallet at home, but I did last week.
Yeah, like Chris goes, yeah, like the cashier can tell you what your PIN number is. Yeah, not, right? And Laura says she adds in my head before I go into a line. Yeah, I do the same thing. I mean, even though I'll probably use debit 9 times out of 10 for it, nevertheless, I
have a sort of a rough estimate.
Well, you know what you're going to, like it's never a complete shock out of it. And the other thing, too, that people seem to get, that can happen is You've got to watch it when the stuff's coming up in the supermarket because things are on sale, but they don't always translate into what the cashier is putting in. And sometimes those things go by so fast. Or another thing that annoys me, which isn't a stupid thing, but it might be done on purpose by stores, sometimes you can't see the screen at all. They have them facing so you can't see what's coming up on the screen. And I don't like that when I'm buying stuff.
Actually, in Canada, a lot of people don't realize it, but most of the stores have a scanner code positive, what's that? I can't remember. It's a.
If the barcode, if they scan it and it comes up wrong from what's on the shelf, you're supposed to get
$10 off or the item free that hasn't scanned
if
properly.
it doesn't scan correctly.
If whichever is lower.
However, they don't volunteer that information.
No.
You have to know that, and Walter
They'll
does.
They'll try and correct it first, very rarely, and a lot of them have it printed on the side of the scanner that says scanner code policy, and the scanner code policy is that if the item's under $10, they're supposed to give it to you for free, and if the item is over $10, they're supposed to give you $10 off.
Yeah.
If it doesn't scan properly. Now, Walmart never seems to have that problem. Walmart always, I've never had that problem in Walmart.
Virginia says, have to go. My husband had a can of soda fall out of the fridge and it sprayed all over the kitchen.
What, you can't wipe it off?
I'm sorry that I'm laughing, but we're talking about stupid things people do. And, like, who hasn't had that happen, though? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but you mean your husband can't wipe that off?
Yeah, why do you have to do it, Virginia? Why is that, Virginia? Why do you have to clean it up? Really? Is his arms painted on? He made the mess. He cleans it up.
Jesus, oh.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's invalid, so.
Anyways. So stupid things people do. I think we could go on for days about stupid things people do. But,
yeah.
I mean, I have to say, though, at the end, like, to sum this all up, I've been guilty of some of these things before, too. Not all of them. Actually, I don't spit. I don't. But I mean, we've all done stupid things, and the worst part. But I think the one thing that's
Laura Ann said. So let me just address this. Laura, you said Loblaws does this, and when I caught them several times and got free stuff before, yeah, I've gotten free stuff at Loblaws before. And one time, it was a box of cereal, and the next time I went into the grocery store, their solution was to take the price off the shelf of the item that was that scanned wrong. So I couldn't tell what the price was before I got up there.
Yeah, well, that's an issue now about Well, we already talked about scamming, or things that are like scamming. But what I was going to say is, we've all done stupid things. But I think intelligent people who do stupid things realize they've done something stupid and usually are very embarrassed by it, and usually are apologetic for it and try to make amends for it. Then there's the stupid things like people who drop something in an aisle, or their kid does, and they run away from it, run away,
Walk away.
or do stupid things in parking lots, and they're just oblivious to the people around them. And I think that's the thing that's most stupid, is when you're oblivious to how your actions, or lack of actions, affect other people. What's this? I remember once when I was at a friend's place, he opened the fridge door a little too hard, and the fridge door came off in his hand, and the milk spilt all over the floor. His wife was really quick and said, "It's no use crying over spilt milk." I think I'd be pissed off about the fact the door of the fridge came off. To hell with the milk. But anyways, so.
Yeah, I think we've all done stupid things.
Yeah, we've all done
stupid things. And then
things.
if I've caught myself, I go, ooh, that was stupid.
I mean, okay, just before we leave, I'll tell you, I'm like Lucy, as in Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, the old Lucy show. And Lucy always did stupid things. Oh, Ricky! Kind of thing. What is that, Lucy, that you did? Well, years ago, well, it's not just one stupid thing I've done over the years, but I got a free sample of dishwashing detergent, liquid, for doing your dishes, and in the mail or something. They were sending out a free sample. We had a dishwasher. Well, for some reason in my brain, because it was at the same time liquid dishwasher detergent came out, I was thinking that's what this stuff was. And it wasn't. It was regular in the sink dishwashing stuff, right? So I loaded up the dishwasher and I got this little packet out and filled it up, turned on the dishwasher and walked away. It was in our old house, so this is many, many, many years ago, like 30 years ago. And went somewhere else in the house to do whatever. And about an hour later, I came into the kitchen and literally our kitchen was filled with soap bubbles up to my knees. And Walter wasn't home. It was the summertime, and I was home, of course, on summer vacation. He was at work, and I didn't know what to do. All these bubbles in here, how to get rid of them. So I opened up the patio doors. We had a kitchen that had a little patio off, and in that house we had a 2-story house, and our kitchen was actually at the back of the house, the next story up. And there's a big field back there. So I just sort of ushered all the bubbles out the door, and they floated all over the neighborhood, and we're sticking to people's houses and the whole bit. We just went from bad to worse. So when Walter comes home, I go, Ricky! Ah! I told a Lucy. And of course, he's always very kind when I pull a Lucy. He goes, you're a moron. Yeah. Or I set the microwave on fire once because I read a book that said how to dry herbs in a microwave. And it was working pretty good except for summer savory. That went up like that. So I had a little fire.
So the microwave, Steve, how come the microwave's black inside?
Ricky!
And then one time,
I
spent all this time. You almost walked through the screen door one time, and then I took it and I bought screening, and I spent a couple hours trying to figure out how to put the screen back in the door. So I tore the old screen out, put the new screen back in. Within 5 minutes,
I walked through it again. Yeah, well. Yeah, there's some stupid things like Walter was rejuvenating the front lawn this summer, and it was looking really good, best it has looked.
Yeah, wow.
And everything, he had grass seed in, he put topsoil down on it and the whole bit. Then he decides to go out and fertilize it. We now have crop circles.
I had a little
Kind of killed the lawn with that.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Stupid things people do. Anyway, so, I guess we're not immune to those kind of things yet. So anyways, it's time to go bye-bye. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. If you've got any suggestions during the week, just drop us a note in the comment section and we'll deal with something. And in the meantime, I have my vlog will go up tomorrow, and I've got a new quilt to show you and some other things. And yeah, so glad you were able to come out today and catch up with us, and I hope you got a laugh or two out of some of the things we were talking about. And yeah, let's keep fighting those stupid things that people do out there. So have a good one. We'll talk to everybody later. We'll see you next week. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, Walter.
That's stupid.